Happy Friday, Central Coast. The hosts of The Clutch are here with you on the Sports Bite. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. 4 minutes into the weekend, I suppose. 4 minutes past 5 here on July 28th, 2017. Alex Clupper, Ben Fletcher. Ben, how you doing today?
Doing just super. It's Friday, baby.
Sun's out, guns out for one. Ben Fletcher going with the tank top.
Yeah, I had to move people.
Yeah, that works. Get a little arm action going there, moving some big furniture.
Oh, yeah.
A
couple dressers, whatever.
I can tell you're looking pretty swole today.
Thanks, guy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some football today. Some stars are wanting to get paid. Some of them are attending training camp. Some of them are not. So we'll go over that. The MLB trade deadline is Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So we're gonna deal out some players that we want to see leave their current teams and join some others, and debate whether some of those guys should go or should stay. UFC 214, we are currently watching the ceremonial weigh-ins here in this station. That comes your way tomorrow, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Kyrie Irving, some new news on the trade front for him. Got some teams that have put forth some actual offers, and we'll talk a little bit about him stonewalling the Cleveland Cavaliers' attempt to contact him. The San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers start a series today. Ben is definitely not looking forward to that one.
Oh, I have an optimistic outlook.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
We'll see what happens.
I like it. 31 and a half games back. The Giants. Hopefully, they can make a little run here and take a little bit of that distance between them away. Matt Moore and Alex Wood on the bump tonight. So obviously, ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket is going to have the Dodgers game here, and then over on Cajual, we will have the Giants broadcasters version of the same exact game. Which one you want to listen to? Doesn't matter. Listen to one of them because it's going to be a good game, good series. Always good when those teams get together. But first, Ben, let's talk a little NFL football. Training camp, more training camp started today for teams across the league. And one guy who is present at training camp but is most upset and I guess most noteworthy among the holdouts is Odell Beckham Jr. He says let's listen to the man himself say exactly what he wants.
We literally work 6 days a week for 60 minutes of football. And, you don't play offense, defense, and special teams, so you only play one. 70 plays, 4 to 6 seconds of play, it's like 11, 12 minutes. And I've worked all week for 11 to 12 minutes. To do all that work for the criticism of the entire universe, I believe that I will be, hopefully not just the highest paid receiver in the league, but the highest paid, period.
So that is Odell Beckham Jr. on Uninterrupted, LeBron James' newest venture. It is a podcasting and video service for athletes, kind of like the Players Tribune, but for more multimedia stuff. So you heard Odell Beckham Jr. there. I like the moody music in the background, kind of like it was like a hard-hitting journalistic
so
piece.
dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. What was your initial reaction to Odell Beckham Jr. saying he hopefully wants to be not just the highest paid receiver, but the highest paid player in the NFL?
So my immediate thought, I went to NBA players and how much money they're getting and the superstars and the supermax contracts. And I'm like, well, yeah, NFL players, they should get the same. Mm-hmm. But then I listened to that, and he kind of is hurting his own argument. He's saying, I work 11 minutes a week or whatever. Like, of course you're not going to get paid huge.
I know.
Especially when you don't get your team wins, because as a front office in the NFL, you're thinking, okay, I'm paying my players so I get wins. I'm buying wins, essentially. Just like in MLB, they buy runs, essentially.
Yeah.
When OBJ gets a touchdown in a game, the Giants aren't that good. They're 13-11. When he gets 100 yards plus in a game, they're 7-12.
Yeah.
Like, as a front office, I would be kind of holding out as well. And I don't think he's going to get the number one overall NFL paid player. No way.
Yeah. When I heard that clip, too, it's funny. The way he prefaced that, yeah, OBJ, what are you doing here? You're not exactly making your own case saying, well, I only play about 11, 12 minutes a week. And, work 6 days a week. I get all this criticism and all this weight on my shoulders. But I don't actually play all that much, so why are you criticizing me? Well, then we can turn that around and say, well, why do we want to pay you $25 million a year if you're not going to think you're even that integral part of the game? But I guess, that's just how football goes. He only plays offense, so he's not going to be playing 60 minutes. I don't know. I think this is a little bit bigger of an issue, or less of an issue that people are making it out to be, because at the end he didn't seem like he was like saying, putting his hand down, putting his foot down, saying, I'm going to be the highest paid receiver and the highest paid player. He's gonna like, hopefully it happens. Hopefully you get paid. You know?
He's there. He's practicing. It's not like the other guys. He's he understands what's going on here. He understands he's probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's cool that he holds himself in that high light.
Yeah, no, it's good. And, anyone should be shooting for as much as they can. So you don't want to say, well, I think I'm worth probably the third best receiver in the league. I'm gonna gun for that, and hopefully my agent isn't gonna call me right now and sue me for malpractice. His salary this year, $1.8 million, and it's rumored he's getting about $10 million this year for endorsements, most of that from Nike.
His big shoe deal.
Yeah. Next year, $8.5 million, so he's going to a little bit bump up in what is going to be his fifth year. The highest paid receivers in the NFL, currently this year, Dez Bryant's going to be paid $17 million, and Antonio Brown just signed the highest per year average contract. That was also $17 million per year for Antonio Brown, although he's making a little bit less than that this coming year. So just double what Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be making next year. So this year he's only making $1.8 million. So he has been working by himself for most of the offseason in LA. He did not go to the OTAs with the team, but he has been at training camp so far. So can he get it? Like you said, I don't think he can get it.
There's no way he's getting quarterback money, because quarterbacks get wins by themselves sometimes.
Yeah, and you look at the quarterbacks in the league, 9 of the 10 highest players in the NFL are quarterbacks. It really seems like that $20 million and up tier is reserved only for quarterbacks. So like we said, $17 million for the highest paid receivers. And some, I believe Ndamukong Suh is been about $17-18 million. He's one of the highest paid defenders. Joe Flacco is still mystifyingly the highest paid player in the NFL this year, $24.6 million.
Doesn't it blow your mind a little bit?
I mean, he made
he's
well
good
for himself.
The kid's good.
He's good. Yeah, I would put him like 16th, 17th best quarterback in the league. I mean, that Super Bowl win definitely did well for Joe Flacco. So OBJ and the Giants, they haven't really begun talking negotiations. They were only able to start doing that this offseason. So John Mara, the owner of the Giants, said he wants to get a deal done. They haven't really come close to getting a deal done. So we'll see if they can get something done during this season, and OBJ can maybe have another interview on Uninterrupted where there's some happier music and less dramatic.
I really want to see how outrageous that first number he puts on the table is. I imagine it's going to be so dramack. He's going to slide a piece of paper across.
Yeah, I was like, did you just see what James Harden just signed his extension for? 4 years, $200 million, whatever. I want that.
Because in that Uninterrupted clip, he did reference the NBA and how much they're making.
And see,
NBA guys play every other night.
Yeah, there was such a big kind of backlash from NFL players, especially with what happened in the NBA offseason. Last season, a little bit less. Still, there was some. This offseason, though, it was just like, wow, this guy is going to be a bench player and he's going to be making $10, $12 million a year, where I'm having to fight for that, as an all-star Pro Bowl player and not even guaranteed that money. So, I mean, it's just a difference in the sports right now. And obviously the NFL players want to get to a better place where they have more guaranteed, percentage of their money. But the fact of the matter is there's 52, 53 players per team
versus 12.
Yeah, you can't pay everyone that. So the highest paid player in NFL history, highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, actually retired. Calvin Johnson, he had the biggest ever wide receiver contract in NFL history, 8 years, $132 million, signed that in 2012. Obviously, he did not play out that entire thing. That was $16.5 million average with $60 million guaranteed. It's going to be interesting to see if OBJ can approach that, because he's pretty young. I mean, he's only had 3 seasons. And he's the only player in NFL history for the first 3 years to have 90-plus receptions, 1,300-plus yards, and 10-plus touchdowns in each of his first 3 years.
Well, and he brings in viewers. He's incredibly fun to watch, some of the catches he makes. But does he bring in wins has to be the question the front office wants to answer to.
I think you can win with OBJ. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be...
Well, you need a better offensive line first.
Yeah, you need a better offensive line, and their defense has been pretty poor the last couple of seasons. and their running game hasn't exactly been something to write home about. So it's pretty much, OBJ and Eli, when Eli's not throwing to the other team. He is the premier offensive player on that team. Eli Manning might be getting paid more, and he might get, more of the credit because he is the quarterback. But I think if you just put in relation to the rest of the players at his position, OBJ is the best player on the Giants, given to the average of what his position brings. But another thing that can weigh in this, so he's making, like I said, just under $2 million this year, plus $8 million next year, that he can be franchise tagged in 2019 and 2020, which would give him the average of the top 5 wide receivers in his first year and then 120% of that in 2020. So, I mean, conceivably, the Giants could have Odell Beckham Jr. for 4 more years without going a long-term contract. And he could hold out, obviously, and try to force their hand. But there's nothing that will force him to do that unless they don't want to use a franchise tag. Another question, should he get it? Should he get that money? I mean,
pay big money to people who get you big wins. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And I would say 99% of the time, I'm behind a player wanting to get more money. I'm not a huge fan of the hard cap they have in the NFL. I would like to see players get more guaranteed money, especially with guys getting hurt so often, and you have to bring in new guys. And sorry, we had to cut you in your $4 million salary because you have a 6-week injury, and we need a guy to play 30 snaps next week, and you can't do it. So good luck to you. So it'll be interesting to see if the Giants, it seems like they're amenable to getting something done, but if they can find a spot where OBJ is not only the highest played receiver, not going to be the highest played player. Period. Can he get to 20 million? That's what I want to know. Can he get to 20 million?
It'd be cool to see, but I would rather give that money to Antonio Brown if it was me.
Yeah, true. And Antonio Brown got 17 million per. Can OBJ bump that up to 18 million? We'll see. I'm glad he's at camp, and I'm glad he's getting things done.
He's doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Now some guys who are not doing it the right way.
Exactly. We have 3 really top tier players who you would say have not shown up so far.
We have a defensive player of the year in there.
Yeah. Le'Veon Bell. Former defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald, and Donald Penn. There's something about the Donalds. They don't like showing up to training camp.
Don't make a president joke.
Yeah, I stayed away from that. This is a sports show for now. Maybe the clutch will bite on that, but not today in the sports bite. Let's start with Le'Veon Bell. So he is obviously one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the league.
Transcendent
talent, which is strange when you look at he's been in the league for 4 years. Only 2 of those years has he had over 1,000 yards rushing because he's been hurt.
He's had injury problems, but he's in my opinion, the best back in the league. Him and David Johnson kind of head to head.
No, I agree with that. I was looking at the stats today, and it's weird. Yeah, he's only eclipsed 1,000 yards in 2 of those seasons. So it's weird how the perception versus the stats kind of go in opposite directions with OBJ and Le'Veon Bell.
And I mean, he was also without Roethlisberger for a while last year, and he still played awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the guy's good.
And like he would be the first one to tell you, he is not just a running threat. He is a pass receiver. He is the second best, had the second most catches and yards on the Steelers last year. With Martavis Bryant hopefully coming back, maybe that'll change, but he is still one of the best receivers as a running back along with David Johnson. So he was trying to get a long-term deal. They had until July 17th to get that done between him and the Steelers. Did not get it done. They have offered him the $12.1 million franchise tag, but he has not signed it. So he is technically not breaking the rules of his contract because right now there is no contract. He's not getting fined for this, but there is still, there is already, players from the team are like, well, I understand where he's coming from. I don't want to ever say a guy shouldn't get paid, but we're doing some team building here, and we want to see everyone get in here and work. Mike Tomlin said, it's kind of the same thing. I kind of understand where he's coming from. I want to support him, but like we're starting to get this thing rolling, and the more time he misses, he's already been suspended to start the season twice in a row. Like this is already going to be something where it seems to be a pattern with Le'Veon. Do you think the fact that he's going to be sitting out for now an indeterminable amount of time is going to affect the way he at least starts the season?
It's going to hurt. Like, I think you and I have talked about this before. The Steelers are the only team, really, that have a big 3. They have a great quarterback, one of the best wide receivers in the league, and one of the best running backs in the league.
Yep.
And the more time he misses, the worse it's going to be for the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I really hope that, he gets his money and then he shows up, flips the switch, and he's awesome. He's the best Le'Veon Bell we've seen. But that's not feasible.
Yeah.
He either needs to get on the field and take the 12.1, boo-hoo, $12.1 million.
You know what? Yeah. I'll take a few hits for $12.1 million. Yeah.
Or figure it out, He's got to do something.
Yeah.
The more time he's out, the worse it's going to be for the Steelers.
And in his 4 years, he's only made just under $4 million, which is kind of crazy. Like, he's averaged about $1 million per season. It seemed like you might want to jump in and like, okay, I'm getting a huge raise. But instead, he's going for that long-term deal. And, everyone has a different strategy when it comes to this. OBJ is going to camp. Le'Veon Bell hasn't even signed his contract. Now, two guys who have contracts, and Aaron Donald and Donald Penn did not show up today. Aaron Donald, the just wrecking ball that is defensive tackle
from the inside
for the Rams. Yeah, I mean,
it's insane.
He had how many sacks in his first 28 sacks in his first 3 years.
And he's an interior guy.
Yeah, which is like,
it's not like he's a pass rusher going around. He's inside in the trenches, and he's still getting those sacks.
Yeah. So today was the first day training camp for the Rams. Did not show up. He has a $1.8 million base salary this year. He can make up to $3.2 million with some incentives, which makes him the 41st highest paid defensive tackle in the league.
And he was the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Ndamukong Suh, I mentioned earlier, is actually making $19 million a year. So I can understand where Aaron Donald's coming from. He's going to be making just under $7 million next year. But with the Rams team, obviously that has gone through some changes, and they're trying to get back on the right track. He is their best player. And before today, I was thinking that there was almost a consensus that he is maybe the best player in the NFL that is not a quarterback. But then I was looking at some of the other rankings, the NFL Network player rankings I do every year. They only have him at 15, which is strange. I know Pro Football Focus has him as their top player. It's really him and J.J. Watt as the top guys on the defensive line when J.J. Watt is healthy. I got some stats from my man Patty Cooper at Patty Cooper, Paddi Cooper. I promised I'd shout him out because he gave me this good stat on Twitter. 57% of the plays coming from Aaron Donald that he made, so tackles, sacks, whatever, 57% of the plays that he made were on the opposite side of the ball. So he made them in the backfield. 57%.
Oh, yeah, he led the NFL last year in plays behind the line of scrimmage, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and they're not the same position, but obviously Khalil Mack and Von Miller, two of the better guys who can get in the backfield, 33% and 31% respectively for those two guys. So Aaron Donald, a huge part of the Rams' hopeful success this year, not showing up to camp today. And there hasn't really been any inkling of a wonder whether he's going to get a new contract or not, because they haven't really commented on it.
I mean, my only issue with everything that's going on with him right now is he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
It's not, he's young. He's played 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Barring some sort of injury that ends his career, he's going to make a lot of money in 2 years. He's going to be up to that Mac level, that 17 whatever mil a year.
Exactly.
So I think he needs to swallow his pride a little bit here and play these 2 years. And he's still not making bad money. He's making more money than he would if he wasn't an NFL player.
Yeah.
But he's got to just think about it. If he waits, his contract's going to be so much bigger than if he fights it right now.
Yeah.
And that's going to last him for however long, 5-6 years, we don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy obviously this isn't super big money in NFL terms, but to think in normal person terms, normal, person who works at a normal job.
This just depresses me.
$40,000 a day he's fined. And he's just like, that's the price of the holdout, It's like, oh my God, can you,
I haven't had $40,000 in my entire life.
Yeah, exactly. I wish that the NFL, instead of going to the owners, saying, okay, for every player that holds out, for every $40,000 per day, they just go, okay, someone who is following the NFL Twitter account is going to get that $40,000.
Oh, the fan base.
So if there's 5 players who hold out today, and that's $200,000, okay, there's going to be 5 different accounts that are going to get this $40,000. Like, can you imagine what goodwill, what PR that would give the NFL? That's nothing to them.
You need to get hired.
I know, right? Hey, Roger.
Someone give this guy a job.
Roger. Hey, Roger. Give me a job.
We're doing accents again.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That was my best Boston accent. I'm sorry. You said something about, kind of swallowing his pride. Someone who I think should swallow his pride, Donald Penn, making $5.8 million this year. A surprise holdout. Aaron Donald people saw it coming. Le'Veon Bell, it's been written in the weeds for a while. Donald Penn, who has played very well left tackle for the Raiders for the past 2 or 3 seasons, he wants a new contract. And the only thing I have to say about this is, hey, Donald, who was it that missed the block on, I believe it was Trent Cole, who then sacked Derek Carr, broke his leg? Was that you? I understand you could have had the greatest season ever for left tackle, but you made that one play that got Derek Carr hurt. Do not come to camp complaining about your salary when you're making $6 million a year. And you got the man himself, Derek Carr, hurt. You've derailed the Raiders' Super Bowl chances. This is
spoken like a true Raider fan.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you tell I'm a Raider fan? I want to get something done before we move to Vegas, and he did not help that year. So I have.
Do you see him as a top 10?
Yeah, I do. I think he's been very good. I mean, I feel like he's only gotten better as he's gotten older. He's in his 30s now.
But top 10 NFL left tackle, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, I think he only gave like 1 or 2 sacks, and like literally the one was the one that just
people don't forget
tore apart our season in week 16. Still, the day before Christmas. What an absolutely terrible Christmas present. One more thing. Yeah, I know. I'm still over it. I'm over it. You can tell. One more NFL item before we go to break and talk some trades. MLB. A guy who is getting paid, Jarrell Casey, got extended today, 4 years, $60 million, with $40 million of that guaranteed.
Wow.
So he's played 6 years in the NFL, 33 sacks, and that has come as a defensive end.
He waited. He was patient. He got money.
Yeah. So, Aaron, you're probably going to get double that.
At least.
Yeah, at least. So, first off, go with the idea that I just proposed of giving that $40,000 away to charity.
Or
also,
me.
Also
like,
known as,
great.
someone who follows the NFL. That'd be awesome. And, you're going to get paid. And Jarrell Casey, maybe going to do some big things for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, I saw some notable publication, I don't remember who it was, had the Tennessee Titans winning their division.
Do you know who my favorite player in the NFL is?
Marcus Mariota?
DeMarcus Murray. But
okay.
Same team.
Why? Wait, DeMarco Murray is your favorite player?
DeMarco Murray. Favorite player. He was my fantasy back last year, and he dominated.
See, this is what happens, kids. When you just get too into that fantasy football life, when you grow up with it, 21 years old, and his favorite player is his fantasy player from last year. I understand. But this year,
I'm drafting him again.
Derrick Henry, I'm telling you, is going to be...
He's the goal... Oh, we can talk about that later.
He is going to get a come up.
Vultures all of DeMarco's touchdowns.
Exactly.
Literally.
And he's going to do more of it this year. All right, this is the Sports Bite. Alex and Ben from the Clutch filling you in for the mics today. When we come back, we're going to talk some hopeful trades that happen in the NFL or the NBA. Sorry. I'm going through the leagues in my head. The MLB trade deadline, which comes up Monday. We'll give you some players we want to see move and what new locale they will be calling home. This is the Sports Bite.
We're back to the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket.
All right. Alex Clupper, Ben Fletcher, here on a Friday Sports Bite, July 28th, 2017. Ben, I can't hold it in any longer. You know why I'm not doing the Giants game tonight?
Oh, yeah. I was so curious. Why?
I am going to the UFC 214 tomorrow.
You actually?
Yeah.
So we're not going to Buffalo Wild Wings? We had a date.
I
what
know.
the heck?
I know. I'm sorry. This is going to make it even more awkward. My former co-host of the Bite of the Slow Late Show, Bobby Goodsby, lives in Temecula now. And on like Tuesday, he was just like, "Hey, let's go to the fights." I'm like, "I would love to, but I am flat broke." And he's like, "Well," so he's a bartender at a casino, and apparently he's had some good casino winnings the past couple weeks. He's like, "Yeah, I've gotten I'm up on my slot machine play, so I can cover you until you can pay me back." I'm like, "Okay,
I'm in."
So yeah, we were gonna have a Buffalo Wild Wings date, and my fiance was going to be there too. And sorry, that has to be postponed.
It's okay.
We were just watching the
I
weigh-ins.
understand.
Daniel Cormier, John Jones squaring off. Looked like they're gonna. John Jones actually looked very.
He was smiling.
He was smiling. He was doing some yoga. and Daniel Cormier looked like he wanted to shove his fist down John Jones' throat.
He didn't even look at the weigh-in scale. He was staring at Jones the whole time.
With his sandals and socks. So we're going to talk more about that fight in the card next segment. This segment, we want to talk some MLB trade scoopage. No, not really scoopage. There's 2 minor trades today. Not even big enough that I really want to talk about them unless you want to, Ben. Do you even know? There's like 2 relievers who got traded from the Mariners to the Braves and vice versa. I don't know.
We can talk about the Giants trade. Because I'm excited. We have 2 new hands or arms.
That's
in
true,
the
yeah. Eduardo Nunez going to the Boston Red Sox. Ben, how do you feel?
Gregory Santos and Sean Anderson. I'm like, our season's done. So I'm okay with it because what do we need? We need arms and we need lots of pitchers, and we got 2 good quality arms.
Yeah, well, it's weird how you're...
And young and tall.
Yeah. The optimism you showed at the beginning of the show for the Giants versus Dodgers series has suddenly gone out the window.
Giants haven't been bad against the Dodgers for whatever reason this year.
This is true. They just cannot play the Padres anymore. The Padres,
or anyone else in the league. So.
Destroy them. So Eduardo Nunez is going to be shoring up third base for the Red Sox.
And I hope that he has a postseason chance and he does well for them because, they had a other Giant at third base for a while who did terribly. Pablo.
Who is now in the Giants system.
Oh, we don't need to talk about this. But
is he getting September call-up, Pablo Sandoval?
No. Right. What, September?
Yeah, September call-up.
Well, we don't have it in October, so...
Yeah, exactly. Can't happen in October. Not this year. Other baseball news before we get to our hypotheticals. Currently, they are in the top of the 6th inning in the Bronx. And Masahiro Tanaka, who has had a very poor season so far, an ERA over 5, is having a very good day today. 5 innings pitched, no hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Tanaka throwing a perfect game so far. And
you jinxed it. It's done.
Sorry. Masahiro Tanaka is going to get shelled next inning. It's all my fault. 3 home runs by the Yankees have given him a 5-0 lead. Brett Gardner in the first, Aaron Judge in the 4th, and Clint Frazier? Who is C. Frazier? No, that's Todd Frazier. The score thing on ESPN.com is off. Wait, no, there is a C. Frazier. Clint Frazier, yeah. Okay, there we go. 3-run home run. He scored Todd Frazier with that home run. So 5-0 Yankees. Masahiro Tanaka, once again, perfect game. If he gets ruined in the 6th inning, it's either because I did it or because Jonah Carey, former ESPN baseball writer, jinxed it, because whenever he starts watching a no-hitter, something bad happens. All right, Ben, there are some big names on the trading block, the trade wire, if you will. Maybe the biggest one is a man in Texas, Arlington, Texas, is Yu Darvish. He had a very, very terrible start in his last start on Wednesday. 10 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. That is the worst start of his career. His ERA jumped from 3.44 to 4.01. So
it's a rough day.
A very rough day for you. The Rangers are not totally 100% out of the wild card chase. I think they're like 5 games back. But Yu Darvish is going to be a free agent after the year. He's not having the best year of his career. He has a career low in strikeouts per 9, even though he's still striking out over a battered inning. And he has a career high in home runs per 9 innings.
But he is needed.
He is needed by a team that we talked about this before last time we were on. I think the Dodgers should maybe not trade, their best young prospects, but I think the Dodgers need another guy who can eat up innings. And Yu Darvish has shown he can do that when he's not giving up 10 runs. And I think the Dodgers are the best possible fit for Yu Darvish.
Well, I think they might have been a decent fit for them before, but now that Clayton Kershaw is injured, They need him. Yeah. They need a starter. They need a starter who can go late, and Yu Darvish fulfills all their needs. And hopefully he can, hopefully he comes in for the Dodgers' sake and does well for them. But I would like it if he comes in and gives up 10 runs every start.
I feel like I could see your heart jump when you're like, oh, hopefully. I just said hopefully that he does well for the Dodgers. No, you were betraying your Giants fan there. And Alex Wood, who has been, statistically either the best or second best Dodger pitcher this year, had a 1.5 ERA coming into his last start and then got shelled as well. Now over 2, and we talked about before, he's not one to go super long into games, even though he has had a career year so far. So having someone like Yu Darvish, who has been perennial, been able to go to late in games, I think it would be a good pickup for the Dodgers. Another ace pitcher in the American League West who looks like he's going to be dealt is Sonny Gray of my beloved A's. At the beginning of the season, I was saying I did not want them to trade him. That was my only hope for the season. I didn't think we were going to make the playoffs. I didn't think anything really great was going to happen. I just wanted us to hang on to Sonny Gray. Now I've resigned to the fact that we are going to trade him. If we can get some good prospects, then I'm all for it. He's already 27. He still has 3 more seasons of team control after this year. So whatever team is getting him, we'll have him for at least a few more years unless they trade him. The team that I would like to see Sonny Gray dealt to, and this is not something you'll hear often, trading inside a division, but I think the kind of dark horse, the team that people have been mentioning, the Seattle Mariners. They are 1 game under 500. They're 51-52, but they are only 3.5 games out of the wild card spot, the second wild card spot. Their starters have been bad, 8th in the American League in runs per game from their starters, and 12th in quality start percentage, only 39%. Sonny Gray, 69% of his starts have been quality so far. He's striking out almost 9 batters per 9 innings, has an ERA of 3.43. The Mariners, I mean, they have a fairly good offense and a good bullpen. But
And a Cal Poly guy.
Exactly. They got Mitch Haniger. James Paxton and Ariel Miranda are really their only reliable starters. James Paxton really having a breakout year.
If we're still talking about fantasy stuff, James Paxton's on my team.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm loving every single start.
Did you draft him?
No, I picked him up.
There you go. See, I was going to say, if you drafted him, then you're a savant. But
I'm
if
a
not,
clever boy.
yeah. King Felix is definitely the downswing of his career. He has not had an ERA under 3.5 since 2014. It's over 4 this year. And then their other, what was supposed to be one of their ace pitchers was Hisashi Iwakuma, who may be out for the rest of the year with a shoulder inflammation. So I think Sonny Gray would give them another bona fide starter behind James Paxton to be able to solidify the rotation and maybe get them that second wild card spot in the AL.
And you like to see your guys do well. You know, that's
Yeah.
the same with me and Eduardo Nunez. But if Sonny Gray can go on and have a really good season, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be happy too.
Yeah, I would. And plus, I have no ill will towards the Mariners.
And I hope he would get to the playoffs and have a couple starts
Yeah.
and see what happens. Get the A's or the Mariners up.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Sorry, it's not happening.
by proxy, he will make the A's proud. Do you see Sonny Gray moving? And if you see him going anywhere, do you?
I liked your idea. I think Mariners would be a really good fit for him. And I think the A's kind of understand that it's not their year, you know?
Yeah.
So they got to try to get some young guys in their minor league system, try to get some bats maybe that can eventually do something really good for them.
That'd be nice. Yonder Alonso, also of the A's, he's been in trade talks. He's had a good year. He was their only All-Star. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't really been with the A's long enough to have any sentimental value. So if we can trade him and get something for him wherever, that's good. Another guy I want to bring up, and not necessarily one that you may have an idea too, but because he's had really a kind of a crummy year, is Jose Bautista. He's 36 years old. He's having his worst year in about a decade. His worst year since 2008, which was 2 years before he hit, that huge 50 home run year when he really broke out. OPS under league average. He has 16 home runs. He's been played in every single game, 102 games, and only 16 home runs for a guy who's known for being able to hit it out of the park quite often, and only batting .221. But I think he can still be a average to above average hitter given the right circumstances. And I think him, being a right fielder, a team that needs a right fielder desperately that is still in the playoff hunt is the Colorado Rockies. Obviously, Carlos Gonzalez usually plays right field for them. He has been fantastic for the past 5 or so years, but this year has really cratered. 642 OPS, one of the worst regular starters in the major leagues this year, which is really kind of shocking. You look at the WAR, the advanced statistic by Baseball Reference and Fangraphs. The right fielders, in terms of WAR for the Rockies, are the second worst in Major League Baseball, behind the Giants.
Nah.
So I think if Jose Bautista and Carlos Gonzalez can kind of platoon maybe in right field, at least one of them gets hot. And obviously with the thin air in Denver, Jose Bautista might be able to get a few more home runs out. I think that would be a good fit.
Another guy we should probably talk about.
Yeah.
The July 28th deadline buzz. We got Lance Lynn of the Cardinals possibly going on the block.
Okay.
He's at a 3.21 ERA, career record 69.45. He could be potentially one of the most coveted starters on the block, maybe behind you.
We would like to see. I thought you were saying me. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I was that good of a pitcher.
You as in Darvish.
Yeah. St. Louis, Waz's beloved St. Louis Cardinals. I know when the year first started and they started off very poorly, he was very, very low on them, and they've really rebounded. But yeah, if Lance Lynn He could be a guy the Yankees go for. I know the Yankees are really
Or the Astros.
Astros. I mean, God, if the Astros and the Dodgers continue to just add pieces, I mean,
it's going to be Golden State Warriors, and then we're going to have to start having this talk about the MLB too, about these super teams and stuff.
Yeah, is Major League Baseball getting too heavy for the super teams? I don't even like watching it anymore. Pretty soon, every sport in America is going to have just constantly talk shows talking about how sports in America these days is just a two team show. One more guy that I don't want to see go is Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers. It seems weird to me to have Verlander pitch for anyone besides the Tigers. And I know he's had a poor year. They've already traded JD Martinez to the Diamondbacks. I think he has 5 hits and 4 of them are home runs so far. So good job, JD. It seems strange. It would seem strange to have Verlander be in the Yankees or the Astros or any of these other teams rumored about. He does have 2 years, $56 million left on his contract after this year. And his teammate, Miguel Cabrera, 6 years, $184 million left on his contract.
Yeah, if NFL players want to start complaining about NBA
exactly.
guys.
I know. That's the thing. MLB players have been getting these huge, crazy contracts forever. I mean, A-Rod.
Yeah, A-Rod's was insane. Barry Zito's was insane for the Giants.
Yeah, I don't know why NFL players aren't complaining about Major League Baseball. Verlander, it would be weird to see him go. And if he can help someone in the postseason, obviously I know firsthand what he can do in the postseason. He dominated the A's, I think, 3 separate postseasons. So he might still be able to reach back and get some of that stuff going. I mean, he's not terrible. I mean, last year he was very, very good. And then this year he's dropped off from that, but he could still be a quality starter. So we'll see if he gets dealt. One more name I want to throw out there. Zach Britton of the Baltimore Orioles. He was phenomenal the last 2 years. This year, less so. He has a 3.5 ERA. I think the last 2 years he had an ERA around 1. I think the Washington Nationals still need bullpen help.
Did you see what happened in the Nationals game the other day? The 4 home runs in a row?
Oh, yeah.
That was insane.
That was insane.
I just had to talk about
their
it.
offense is obviously clicking, but their bullpen still has...
you hit 5 home runs in 1 inning.
Yeah.
Who cares about your bullpen?
You may not need bullpen help. But they had that deal with the Oakland Athletics earlier last month, either earlier this month or last month, where they got Ryan Madsen and Sean Doolittle. So far, mixed results. Sean Doolittle, 4 earned runs and 4 innings pitched, and Ryan Madsen, 0 earned runs and 4 innings pitched. So they could still do a deal. Although that does not seem likely given he's on the Orioles. They would trade crosstown pretty much to the Nationals, and they've been in like a TV contract dispute for like 5 years. So we'll see.
For the other Giants fans out there, before we go to break, we are shopping center fielder Denard Span. Try to get someone for him, and as well as some bullpen guys. Strickland might be gone.
I would welcome that if I was a Giants
What
fan.
if Strickland went to the Nationals? Would him and Bryce Harper fight every day?
I feel like they would maybe not do that considering what happened with Papelbon and Bryce Harper.
Oh, it's no.
I mean, Bryce Harper and relievers don't seem to get along for some reason. So especially guys who are known for being hotheads. But hey, that would make great TV. Great TV. Hunter Strickland. I'm not sure if anyone's busting down the door to get Hunter Strickland. But Denard Span might be a good piece.
Yeah, we're just trying to get someone who can hit. Because Denard Span, we thought he would be the guy a couple years ago. He hasn't been the guy.
Yeah, he's had stretches, and then he kind of falls off the map after that. So.
We need another Buster Posey type hitter. Is there another one anywhere?
Yeah. Can someone please give us a second Buster Posey, just for cheap? Denard Span for maybe I don't know.
Why don't we take Bryce? We'll take him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hunter Strickland and Denard Span for Bryce Harper. You know what? Everyone's happy with that, right? Right. Okay, let's go. All right, let's go to break. If anyone has any ideas for trades, ESPN Radio 1280 Facebook page, maybe leave a comment there. See if you want the Los Angeles Dodgers to get Yu Darvish or maybe Sonny Gray or someone else. Giants, if they want to do a fire sale, or if you're a fan of the A's or Angels or even the Padres. Probably some trades going on with one of those teams, so we'll see what happens. This is the Sports Bite. When we get back, I want to preview the UFC 214. It's the biggest card of the year, and I'm going to it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Are you still going to Buffalo Wild Wings, even though I'm not going to be there?
No, I don't want to be that weird guy.
Like, yeah, give me another beer. It's like, sir, you've had 4 and no one has shown up. Are you sure? Like, Yeah.
No, my friend's there. I promise.
Yeah, he's coming. I'm just going to wave to him while he's on the TV. All right. We'll preview that, talk a little Kyrie Irving when we come back. This is a Sports Bite with Alex Clupper and Ben Fletcher.
We're back with the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280. The Ticket.
Welcome back to the Sports Bite. Alex Clupper and Ben Fletcher from The Clutch, newest show here on ESPN Radio 1280, filling in for Mike and Mike. UFC 214 tomorrow in Anaheim, California. I'm going to be there.
Something as cool as you being there is I'm excited to watch UFC.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a fun fight.
It's going to be great. Best card of the year by far so far. There may be one towards the end of the year that matches or slightly gets to that point, but now looking at what this has put together is awesome. Obviously the main fight here, Daniel Cormier, John Jones.
They don't like each other.
They do not like each other, not even one bit. The rematch, they fought in January 2015. John Jones won a unanimous decision. They were supposed to fight a couple times since then, but some John Jones legal trouble and then getting popped for he had, I think, elevated testosterone due to a enhancement supplement that was not performance enhancing in the athletic sense, but I digress. So he was suspended for a year. They did not see him as doing a wrongdoing, but they still had to suspend him because he tested positive. And then DC pulled out of a fight when he got injured. So they were supposed to fight 2 or 3 separate times. This is going to be the time they actually fight. The best fighter in MMA history, John Jones, many people believe this, versus who is the second best light heavyweight probably in history in Daniel Cormier. Cormier, Olympic wrestler, has beat up ton of the top heavyweights and all of the best light heavyweights besides John Jones. John Jones has lost once in his career, and that was from disqualification. This is going to be an amazing fight. If you are anything but a pacifist and you have any interest whatsoever, I would recommend buying this card because not only is that fight going to be amazing, Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia for the welterweight title. It's going to be a guy who has awesome knockout power in Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia, who is probably the best submission artist in UFC. A beatdown, but is going to be another title fight. Cyborg Justino versus Tanya Evinger for the women's featherweight title. Robbie Lawler versus Donald Cerrone, 2 of the absolute most exciting strikers you will see in all of mixed martial arts. Guys that people have wanted to see fight forever and are finally doing it. And not only are those 4 fights, the top 4 fights, there are 4 other fights on this card where top 15 is facing top 15. So, some of those are going to be free on FXX. Some of them will be on pay-per-view. But if you have any interest in mixed martial arts, I would highly recommend watching this card because it will be amazing. And once again, I'm going to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Before we go on to Kyrie, Alex did jinx him.
I did jinx him. Masahiro Tanaka, 6 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, and 1 hit. So at least he didn't get
lit up. And it was Alex Clupper's fault. You'll hear from his lawyers.
Who got the hit? Edini Hechevarria. So the number 9 hitter got a hit. So I'm going to say, yes, that was probably my fault. All right, let's go to a break really quick. When we come back, Kyrie Irving, update on his trade status. This is the Sports Bite.
We're back with the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280. The Ticket.
Alex Clupper, Ben Fletcher back here for about 1 more minute here on the Sports Bite on Friday. Kyrie Irving not responding to the Cavaliers in their attempts to contact him. Kind of middle school.
New phone, who dis?
Yes, exactly. Kyrie not wanting to talk to anyone based in Cleveland. Apparently there are 6 teams that have made formal offers. The Spurs, the Clippers, the Suns, the Timberwolves, the Knicks, and the Heat. Which one do you want to see or do you think Kyrie is going to go to?
I think the Cavs would be stupid not to send him to the West. Because they want to keep LeBron happy, obviously. They want him to stay after next year. And if they don't send him to the West, LeBron's not going to be happy. Mm-hmm. But I think the best fit would be to the Timberwolves and trade Kyrie and Wiggins. And LeBron will put away his past miscues with Wiggins and try to make it work. And even if LeBron leaves, you still have a superstar.
That is true. That would be a good trade for both teams, I believe. One I would be interested in just to see, to have the best chance of Kyrie doing what he wants to do is the Phoenix Suns. If he is going to the Phoenix Suns, he will be the star. He'll be able
Suns
to shoot.
won't give up Booker.
they won't give up Booker, but they can give up Bledsoe. And maybe if they can say, yes, we'll give up Bledsoe and Josh Jackson, then maybe it can get done. Right now, they're saying no for Josh Jackson. Bledsoe, definitely. Brandon Knight tore his ACL, so maybe that'll something have to do with that. Thank you for listening. Alex Clupper, Ben Fletcher, The Clutch, coming to you soon. Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. on ESPN Radio 1280. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great weekend. Catch me on UFC. I'll be there. Watch it.
This has been the Sports Bite on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket. The Sports Bite has been brought to you by Sunset Honda, Chumash Casino, and by Bud Light. Listen to the Sports Bite here on your ticket to the best sports talk lineup in America. ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.